Now, I have covered a lesson on ANIKA before, but of course, I want to continue exploring that world of quintuplets. And as I do, I then want to share that knowledge with you all as best as I possibly can. Now, I have 2 quintuplet grooves that I want to go through with you all today in today's lesson. So without further ado, let's get started. So firstly, if you are new to this channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe and turn that notification bell on so you are notified every time I upload a new lesson. So when I first covered a lesson on ANIKA and quintuplets in general, I feel like I laid a really solid foundation there. So make sure you go back, complete that lesson, and that you're very comfortable with those exercises before moving on to these grooves. So here is how groove number 1 sounds at full tempo, 75 beats per minute, and then I'll come back, we'll talk about it and break it down a little further. So continuing to use the word university to count these quintuplets, I'm also, in this particular groove, I'm going to split my hands up between my stack cymbal over here, and my left hand is going to go between my hi-hats and my snare drum. Now, in regards to what my right hand is doing, I'm using my stack cymbal, as I mentioned over here on my right, but I've notated it on the PDF and on screen for the ride cymbal. You can use either or, as you'll get the same results from both. I just really like how the stack cymbal sounds over here on my right. So also make sure that your left hand is coming down and accenting that snare drum on beats 2 and 4. And in regards to the bass drum pattern, I have changed it up a little bit from what we were doing in that groove from the lesson that I mentioned previously. So make sure you pay attention to that. Anyways, here is how this exercise sounds. Let's do this really slow, nice and slow and controlled together. This will take you a little bit of time, but with some practice you will get there. Here it is at 55 beats per minute. So like all of these exercises, all you got to do then, once comfortable with that and you're locking in with that metronome, is continue to work your way up through those tempos 5 beats per minute at a time. But when you're ready and you're comfortable enough, here is how that exercise sounds again, this time at a higher tempo, at our goal tempo of 75 beats per minute, along with the notation on screen. Here we go. Okay, so moving on, here is how groove number 2 both looks and sounds at its goal tempo of 75 beats per minute. So in this particular groove, we are going back to splitting those quintuplets between the hi-hats and the snare drum. Now make sure you are continuing to accent the snare drum on beats 2 and 4. The bass drum pattern stays the same, but we are accenting the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th hi-hat within this bar, and that gives this groove a really nice feel. That's probably the hardest part of this groove to get down, but I'm going to do this nice and slow for you again. So here is how this groove sounds at a nice slow 55 beats per minute. So just like the last groove, it's important when you are comfortable with that you begin to work it up through the tempos to 75 beats per minute. Now, before I forget and before I play that for you at full tempo one last time, I just want to mention that I will be uploading some bonus content exactly like this and covering many different aspects of drumming to my Patreon account. So if you are a patron of Whelan Drums, you can access those lessons. I'll make sure I drop a link in the description to that account in the description of this video. Really hope you enjoyed this lesson, everyone. Make sure you drop a comment in the comments section below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you all back here on the channel for more lesson content very soon.